No one's going to come and save you. If your life is going to change, you have to be the person to change it. Today, we're going to be talking about why some people take action and why most people stay stuck forever. And this is one of the biggest hangups that I see that stops people from creating the life that they want. Like, most people know they want a better life. They consciously want to create a better life, but they keep stopping themselves and they can't figure out why it is. So if you can master this, it's going to be so much easier for you to take action towards the life that you want, to create the future that you want to create. And so obviously, we all need to do things to change our life. Like, that's just not going to change. You can't sit around and just meditate a different life. You have to do different actions. You have to do harder things than you're currently doing to make a better life. And you've got to stop holding yourself back. But you have to understand your brain is not wired to do that. Your brain is not designed to do the harder thing when it's not necessary in this moment. Your brain is wired for short-term focus. You've probably heard, like, life is either hard now and easy later, or easy now and hard later. Well, it's because our brain is always looking at the short term. But if you can look through a different frame, like through a different lens, and start seeing long term, you will change what you do on a day-to-day basis drastically. And it's this idea that I want to share with you of opportunity versus obligation. Okay? Opportunity versus obligation. Your brain will almost always go to the easiest, safest route. So if you want to change your life, you're going to need to consciously go the hard route sometimes. And so when I say obligation versus opportunity, let me give you a few examples of exactly what I mean. Many people want to start working out more, or they want to be consistent working out, or they want to work out harder, right? But they don't always do it. Why is it? It's because they're focusing on the obligation that's in front of them, the short-term obligation, which is the action needs to be taken. The obligation for working out is you got to work harder. It's a lot easier to sit on a couch than it is to go and work out. The obligation is you've got to put your body through some strain. You got to hurt yourself a little bit. You got to strain your muscles. You got to get out of breath. It's easier to not do anything. It's easier to stare at the ceiling and lay on the couch than it is. And that's why most people don't take actions, because they're focusing on the obligation that's right in front of them. The opportunity is what you want to start getting yourself to focus on, though. The opportunity is what could come later on down the road, long term. So, what's an example of opportunity for working out? Losing weight. Maybe being proud of the way that you look in a bikini. Maybe it's gaining muscle. Maybe it's living longer. Okay, so the obligation is, yes, I need to, in the short term, take action, put strain on my body, get my heart rate up, sweat, be out of breath. Okay, that's the obligation. The opportunity is I could lose weight, I could be healthier, I could have more energy, I could look better in a bathing suit than I've ever looked since I was 17 years old, I could gain muscle, whatever it is for you. That's the obligation versus the opportunity. Most people focus on the obligation. What I'm trying to get you to do is to start looking more at the opportunity. Let's say that you want to eat healthier, right? The obligation is you've got to stay away from certain foods that you're used to eating. You got to say no to some really delicious shit sometimes. And this is where people don't eat healthy. I'm not saying that eating healthy isn't delicious. It can be, but there are some very delicious foods that are not good for you. It means you're not going to eat as much sugar. Sugar's great. Tastes amazing. And people don't like change. They'd rather not stop eating the things they love eating. That's the obligation. What's the opportunity later on down the road of eating healthier? Well, I'm going to have a lot more energy throughout the day. I will probably stay alive longer for my kids. I'll be able to walk my daughter down the aisle, which, if you're 100 pounds overweight right now, it might not be an opportunity for you. But if you do take the right actions, the long-term opportunities, you could still be around. You could be able to be mobile enough to walk your daughter down the aisle, to play with your grandkids. That's the obligation versus the opportunity. Let's say that you're in sales. I know a lot of people in sales listen to me, or some form of sales or business, right? The obligation is you got to put in some work. You got to make some calls. You've got to get rejected on some calls. Maybe some people are going to hang up on you and you've got to deal with like, oh my God, is there something wrong with me? That story that might pop up inside of your head. That's the obligation. I've got to sit here for the next 2 hours and just pound the phone and just see if I can get some people to answer. That's the obligation. Cold calling, if you've never done it before, it sucks. There's a reason why sales is a high-paying profession. It's because it ain't the most fun when you're doing the hard things. The opportunity of it, of making the cold calls, is maybe you can buy your first house. That's a long-term opportunity. You can pay for your children's education. You can take your family on trips that when you were a child, would have never even been able to dream of because your parents didn't have the money. Maybe you can buy your mom a car because you always wanted to buy. Maybe you could get so good at sales that you could buy your mom a house later on down the road. That's the opportunity. Most people are not focusing on the opportunity. What are they focusing on? The obligation. I got to put in work for the next couple hours. That's what they're thinking. Waking up early. Okay. Obligation. You got to get out of your warm, comfortable, beautiful, amazing bed when you could just fall. Like, how comfortable is your bed when the alarm goes off? It's the most comfortable at that moment. There's nothing more comfortable in the entire world than your bed when your alarm goes off. So the obligation is you've got to get out of that thing. It's much easier just to stay in bed and to not do it. The opportunity though, how much better you're going to feel after having your morning routine. How much better I will treat people if I get my meditation in. How much more calm and peaceful I will feel to just wake up and drink my coffee in silence for 30 minutes before I just rush into my day. Those things are the opportunity. The obligation, I got to get my ass out of my bed. Let's say starting a business, maybe a side hustle, maybe a full-time business, right? The obligation, I have to work extra hours. I've already got a full-time job. I got children and I've got to work extra hours to build this business. The obligation, I might fail. Obligation is I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I need to learn new skills. I need to be uncomfortable. The opportunity, hey, if this works, I can create massive financial independence for myself and for my family. What else? Well, I get to build something that I'm fully passionate about versus doing something that I hate. Or I can control my own schedule and my future. I can work from anywhere in the world. Well, that's the opportunity that's in front of you. But do we really focus on that? No, we focus on, I just got done with work. Just put the kids to bed. I just rather do nothing right now. We don't think about how our life can be drastically different if we take the right actions right now. What about saving money? That's one of the things that I hear a lot of people have trouble with. The obligation, I have to cut back on things that I enjoy doing. I can't just buy whatever I want. And budgeting, that takes time. And you know what also it takes? Discipline. It's way easier just to go buy some stuff than it is to be disciplined. I also have to maybe learn about how to become better at saving and investing money. Those are the obligations. The opportunity, I can have financial freedom in my future. I can retire earlier. I can travel anywhere that I want to. I can invest. I could do all of those things. I could not stress about money ever again. Those are the opportunities. But do we focus on those? No, we know that they're there, but we focus on the obligation. I'd have to cut back on things that I like buying, but I want to buy another purse, right? Let's say that you want to get better at public speaking. What's the obligation? Oh my God, it's so nerve-wracking your first few times. I have to take time. I've got to prepare the speech. I've got to make sure I don't look like an idiot. People might judge me. That's the obligation that's in front of me. The opportunity, oh my God, I get to share my message. I get to inspire people. I'm building my confidence. That will help me in every single area of my life. This could open up new career opportunities for me. Maybe I could be a professional public speaker and I could quit my day job with this boss that I hate. Those are the opportunities. Do we focus on them often? No, we know that they're there, we just usually focus on, well, I don't want to look like an idiot. What if people think I look stupid? What if I trip on the way up? We focus on the obligation. Let's say I want to, learn a new skill in some sort of way. I want to learn a language. I want to start coding. The obligation takes a lot of time and effort. I'm probably going to look like an idiot at first. I'm going to mess up a lot. I have to practice consistently. The opportunity, I'll become more valuable in my career. I'll meet new people. I'll have richer experiences because of it. I'll prove to myself that I can learn anything. And so I want you to understand, the reason why I give you so many examples is because so many people don't take the action that they want to because they're too busy looking at this short-term next 2 hours to next 2 days versus like looking at like what could be different about my life if I do something different. And so one thing, if you really want to set yourself apart, what I have found is look at what everybody else in the world is doing, or the majority of people in the world are doing, and do the exact opposite. What are most people doing right now? They're scrolling on their phone. They're sitting in front of the TV. They're eating crap food from a box. They're not moving their body. They're not challenging themselves. They're not learning more. They're not trying to become better. There's many things that people are doing. So I'm looking at all of this, I'm going, if I want to set myself apart from other people, I need to do the exact opposite of everybody else. And it looks like to me, everybody else, or most people, I want to say, are focused on such short-term gains. This tastes good in my mouth, so I'll eat it. Versus going, you know what? I'll choose the healthier route so that I can live longer, I can look better, I can have more energy, I can have more success and more fun and more mobility when I get older. Most people are looking at, hey, this tastes good right now. Can I just put this stuff in my mouth for the next 30 seconds and eat it, and I'll feel good for 30 seconds and then, gain a pound over the next week by doing it. Versus going, hey, let me take a step back. What's the long-term result of me doing this thing? Is it what I want in my life, or is it not what I want in my life? And what it requires you to do is to make a hard decision in the moment. It is so much harder to say no to the easy things, the convenient things that are right in front of you, than to say, it's so much harder to say no to those things than it is to say yes to the long-term things that we need to do. Like, I don't want to work out, but I'll do it anyways. I don't want to wake up early, but I'll do it anyways. I don't want to have to read, but I'll do it anyways. Like, I don't enjoy reading. I always tell people, I don't enjoy reading, but I do enjoy learning and becoming better more than I don't enjoy reading. And so I don't enjoy reading, but I do want to become better. So I'm going to become better instead of not reading. Does that make sense? And so there's always going to be things that you have to do to get what you want in your life. They must be done. That you're still going to have to do the obligation. But the difference is, instead of just focusing on the obligation while you're doing it and having that be the thing that stops you, what I would prefer to do is think of the long-term opportunity while doing the obligation. And to be honest with you, like, just with all the love in my heart, I'm going to say this. You just got to grow up at some point. Just be an adult. No one's going to come and save you. If your life is going to change, you have to be the person to change it. So many people out there are just waiting for someone to come and save them and change their life. It ain't going to happen. There's no knight in shining armor coming around the bend for you. You've got to be your knight in shining armor. And so what you got to do is you got to focus on the outcome that you want and have that be front of mind. Focus on your vision. Focus on what you're creating. Focus on who you want to become. Focus on how it's going to change your life and how it's going to change your family's life and how it's going to change the generations after your children. Focus on all of that while still doing what needs to be done. Don't focus on the outcome that you don't want. Focus on what it is that you want and do the things that need to be done in order to get there. And if you do that, you will be one of the few people that actually take action versus one of the people that stay stuck forever. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you love this video, click this one right here. YouTube thinks that you should watch this one right now. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and hit this button right there.